reporting for Infowars.com. To be honest with you, I had absolutely no intention of entering this contest again. But I saw on the news yesterday that the war on terror is over. The war on terror is over. The Obama administration has come forward to deem the war on terror over. And so it absolutely must be true. But before you run out into the streets and just sheer frivolity and just dance in the streets at the fact that the war on terror is over, like absolutely nobody in my neighborhood did last night, I think we need to just take a look at maybe a few housekeeping duties that the Obama administration seems to have let slip through their cracks. Since the war on terror is over, perhaps we can get rid of the Patriot Act, which Obama not only didn't repeal, like when he said during his election campaign originally that he was going to reform the Patriot Act.
That means no more illegal wiretapping of American citizens. No more national security letters to spy on citizens who are not suspected of a crime. No more tracking citizens who do nothing more than protest a misguided war.
But instead, then he extended it for 4 years. Yeah, this is the one that basically mutilates our Fourth Amendment by allowing for roving wiretaps and other warrantless surveillance of the American people without satisfying probable cause for search and seizure at all. And even a federal judge ruled the Patriot Act unconstitutional, saying the government is, quote, asking this court to, in essence, amend the Bill of Rights by giving it an interpretation that would deprive it of any real meaning. Okay? But hey, if the war on terror is over, right, then we don't even need the Patriot Act anymore. Or maybe we could just do away with the Transportation Security Administration, the TSA, because maybe we don't need to treat 95-year-old wheelchair-bound veterans like criminals or scare the crap out of toddlers who just want to go see Mickey Mouse at Disney World with their mom and dad without being terrorized and patted down by strange, creepy dudes and swabbed for bomb residue while they're sitting in their little wheelchair, and all their horrified parents can do is just stand by and watch just because they wanted to go to Disney World. And maybe since the war on terror is over, we can also do away with the naked body scanners at the airport that many security experts have come forward to say don't even really secure anything. And there are all kinds of videos on YouTube demonstrating how people have easily been able to get all kinds of weapons through these things. And in fact, the only things the scanners do seem to succeed at is taking a nice clear picture of your junk for the gropers at the TSA. Oh, and don't forget radiating you, which is why doctors have come forward to say these scanners cause cancer now, and that's why European countries are getting rid of them all over the place, but we still have them everywhere and we're expanding them. That's interesting. I mean, think about it, okay? You have to wear a lead vest for protection at the dentist just to get a picture of your teeth taken. But somehow walking your entire body through one of these scanners is fine to get a full body dose of radiation is okay? That makes no sense. And maybe since the war on terror is over, we can just do away with the TSA altogether. Since they're constantly being accused, in many cases found guilty of things like kidnapping and sexual assault. I've seen stories about drug rings. I've seen stories about them being charged with rape. And you really just have to ask yourself what kind of person gets up to go to work in the day and goes, man, I just cannot wait to spend all day humiliating and groping people just because they want to get on a plane. I just can't wait to harass a quadruple amputee by messing with his prosthetic limbs, or strip searching an elderly woman because she's got a colostomy bag, or reaching inside the elastic maternity pants of a pregnant lady. That is awesome. Just can't wait for that. And then maybe if we do get rid of the TSA, then maybe TSA spies won't have to stalk us on our city buses anymore and listen into our conversations and watch us all the time. Or maybe they'll just start groping us on the bus too. Maybe that will just be the start for our day, waiting for us every morning. A TSA agent could just wait for us on our front porch, and we can get up and get dressed and drink a cup of coffee and eat our breakfast, brush our teeth, and step outside for a nice groping before we can even get to our car to go to work. Or maybe they declared the war on terror over because the TSA has failed to actually catch any terrorists ever. How about that? How about, you know how many stories I've actually read about the TSA catching terrorists? It's a whopping 0. It's none, okay? None. So maybe that's why they finally ended the war on terror. And maybe since the war on terror is over, Obama can go ahead and repeal the National Defense Authorization Act, which allows for you to basically be taken away without charge or trial to somewhere like Guantanamo Bay or worse, and tortured or worse, and all under the mere suspicion of being a terrorist. So you don't even have to actually be one. So say bye-bye to the Fifth Amendment and your right to due process. And considering that the FBI has put out all these guidelines now that say paying for a cup of coffee with cash can make you a terrorist, or asking too many questions at a specific type of store, or getting goosebumps at the airport is suspicious enough to possibly be a terrorist, this could be really scary. But hey, since the war on terror is over, right, we don't need the NDAA anymore. So that's pretty awesome. And I guess then Janet Napolitano can go ahead and do away with the Nazi-era Gestapo-esque see something, say something campaign, where we're all supposed to be suspicious of our fellow Americans for basically any reason all the time, because domestic terrorism's everywhere, and we should all just be really suspicious of everyone, and you see something, you say something, and I'll see something, I say something, and we'll just all be saying something and seeing something all the time. And hey, if the war on terror is over, then we can also stop arresting people at ground zero who just want to use their First Amendment rights to ask what happened on 9/11 in our country, because you know, they have questions. People have lingering questions about that, and they have a constitutional and God-given right to ask those questions. And then maybe we can stop making bills like the trespass bill, which outlaws protests and basically kills our First Amendment by saying we can't protest when a government official is nearby, even if we didn't know they're there. So somehow we can magically be charged with a federal crime we didn't even realize we were committing. That's pretty special. But since the war on terror is over, we don't really need this anymore, right? And if the war on terror is over, then perhaps we can go ahead and put away all these unmanned domestic drones that Obama has now approved to patrol our skies and surveil us all the time. And maybe those drones could also not have tasers on them, too. That's a thought. I mean, I don't know. I guess if I had to choose between a drone with a bomb on it, like the ones we've been so judiciously sending over to places like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Yemen and Syria to bomb suspected militants, keyword suspected, then I guess I'd rather just get tased instead of becoming collateral damage for the war on terror. But hey, if the war on terror is over, then we don't need to worry about that anyway, right? Because we don't need any more drones. And maybe since the war on terror is over, we can stop trying to pass all these ridiculous cyber terror laws that are written so broadly that no one is even really sure what they actually mean or what a cyber threat really even is. Do we really need all this censorship and surveillance on the internet? Oh, but wait, that's just here in America. Because as Obama just signed his newest executive order, internet censorship and government surveillance in, like, say, Syria and Iran apparently constitute, quote, human rights abuses. So it's bad if you live over there for your government to do that to you. But if you're an American, that's just business as usual here. So you're meant to expect to be treated like a suspicious terrorist criminal here, okay? On the internet all the time. So you better just get used to it, because it's not a human rights abuse if it's done here. But wait, that's right, I forgot. The war on terror is over. So we don't even need to worry about that anymore. If the war on terror is over, is that why I came across this article that the troops may stay in Afghanistan until 2024? Because, you know, when something's over, it just makes a lot of sense to me to just spread that out for like 12 years. When I go to a movie, right, and I get to the end, I always expect to sit through the end credits for over a decade. Because to me that signifies when something's really over is when it lasts forever. The war on terror is over? Are you kidding me? It's here. It's right now. It's everywhere all around us. We're living in it every single day. For the Obama administration to come forward and say the war on terror is over and reduce it to this soundbite to make it sound like something got accomplished during a re-election year just makes me physically ill. It makes me want to gag, okay? We're living in this huge police state that's just masquerading as a democracy. Our freedoms are being wrenched from us every single day, and they want to come out and say the war on terror is over. What a joke. Okay, the war on terror is over. Are you kidding me? All right, fine. I'm going to go out in the street right now and celebrate and shoot off a firecracker if that won't get me arrested for being a terrorist. And then I'm just going to go to Disneyland because you know what, guys? The war's freaking over. Melissa Melton for InfoWars.